Hi, well, here I am. I haven't been here in a while, and one of the reasons was I got so very busy. I am also a singer besides a pagan, and I got very busy singing. So if anybody's interested in that work, please let me know. You can look me up at Reverend Mary, Rev. Mary Elizabeth Macari. That's me on stage. I also do healing and other kinds of music as well. So if you're interested in that work, that's available on my other channel. But if you do want to know anything about that, let me know and I'll send you information. We have Rosencrantz on the floor over here. Hi, Rosie. Hi, sweetie. That's Rosencrantz. He likes to hang out and talk on video. So why am I here today? Well, it was Lughnasadh just a couple of days ago. It's actually August 3rd now that I'm speaking, and I haven't done anything about Sabbats in quite a while, and I feel kind of guilty. And I just had a nice reading with somebody who said to me that he found me through these videos, and thanks for doing it, and he hopes I do more. So for Jordan, here it goes. We'll do another video since I'm sitting here and already in talk mode. So Lughnasadh, many blessings to all of you out there. I hope everybody's doing well. Also, I'm going to start doing live tarot readings here, just basic 101, kind of like by sign. I know a lot of people seem to do that here and it seems to work. I actually watch some of them and it really does kind of make sense. So I'm going to start doing that myself as often as I can imagine doing that. So I'll be here live and you can join me here live. I'll put things up on Facebook or on social media regarding the times, and you can find it that way, or you can just subscribe to my channel below and you can click the little bell and you get notifications as to when I'm online or when I might be. So Lughnasadh, Lughnasadh, Lughnasadh. It's Gaelic. So it's really Lughnasadh, which means the mass or the celebration of Lu, the god Lu. And god Lu in Ireland is a god of the harvest or corn harvest. And in Ireland, to this day, there's actually a film, and maybe I'll go watch it tonight because I've never really seen it, called Dancing at Lughnasadh. And it's about the Irish culture and all that goes along with it. Now, Lughnasadh is not just Irish. Other people call this time of year Lammas, or some people actually call it Harry Potter's birthday. If you've read all those books, his birthday is August 1st. And it means he is the sacrificed king. And that is what this is about. There's a movie called The Wicker Man, which is about a terrible cult on this weird island in Britain somewhere where they actually put people in a basket and put them on fire, which is kind of what used to happen. They used to make, it's true, a human sacrifice at this time of the year. Some cultures, not all places, but sometimes they did. And I do not recommend it now. It is illegal. Don't sacrifice anything. And if you sacrifice an animal, I don't want to even talk to you. So don't talk to me if you do that. I think it's a very harmful thing to do. Anyway, so unless you're going to eat them and you're a farmer, it's different. But that being said, this was somebody was crowned king. They were crowned the sacrificed king, and these people were given everything: women, food, money, shelter, and treated like a king for a certain period of time. Actually, from the first inception of the seed going in the ground sometime in February, around Imbolc, around February 1st or 2nd, or maybe just a little bit later if it was too cold in the region they were in. And that person was made king. And eventually they were sacrificed upon the land at the harvest, which is the first harvest of August 1st, which is Lammas or Lughnasadh. You can look at, there's a song called John Barleycorn, which is one of the most famous songs about this very holiday. And it's about a sacrifice of somebody named John Barleycorn. But what it really means, it's about the corn. People used to believe that deity, and we still do in a lot of ways, at least I do, that deity lives within this vegetables, and the vegetables in the land itself, in rocks, in everything. Everything is animated. There is life in all things. So people believed very strongly that the corn itself was a living thing, a god, Lu, a being that was sacrificed at this time of the year and cut down and stripped and ground into flour. So there's these songs like the John Barleycorn song, John Barleycorn. You can find this online very easily. There's one guy named Don the Bard. The Bard has a good version of it, but there's also tons more. Jethro Tull, actually, the band Jethro Tull from the 70s, they did a nice cover of it because they did a lot of spirit music. They were pagan, are pagan. Anyway, so Lughnasadh. So what are we supposed to do on this holiday? Now, obviously, I'm talking about this in 2018, and it was 2 days ago, which means it was like a Wednesday. It's not always easy to have a Sabbath on a Wednesday, but it is almost always okay for many people to have their Sabbath on the weekend. So what do? Well, we create an altar for Lughnasadh if we can, with all kinds of beautiful things from the ground, all kinds of beautiful vegetables, all kinds of things, corn, especially corn, wheat. We can buy bread and have or fresh made loaves or make our own, and or use cream and butter and just make a feast. The Sabbaths themselves, when we're talking about these days throughout the year, the Sabbaths themselves are days of celebration. Moons, both full and new, sometimes half moons, are used to do magic and used to do focused work more often than a Sabbath. But you can do magic on a Sabbath, and if you'd like to do magic about harvest and bringing more harvest into your life and more goods, more things, people, money, things, this is a great time to do that. So what you might want to do is set up your altar, get a few candles, a green candle. Good evening. Hi. Go get yourself a candle of color that represents this harvest for you. You can write down exactly what you feel like you've harvested, especially if you want to go back to, like I said, to February 2 or around that time and say, hey, I harvested these things this year. I'm celebrating this harvest. Sometimes you have harvested things you're not necessarily happy about. So you can write about that as well, and you can work to release them by burning them, sacrificing them, getting rid of them, ripping them up, flushing them away. So writing out, oh, I got myself into debt this year, or I got myself sick this year too many times, or I gained too much weight and my harvest was not a healthy weight gain. So I can release those things that way. So those are ways to do that. But you're going to get all this food and bless it, and you want to actually have it cooked or raw, whatever way you prefer. It's not necessarily a meat holiday, although there are animals being constantly harvested for human consumption. And if you do that, you can use animals and animal flesh for that. And you just make a beautiful meal for yourself. If you're vegan, it's kind of like your holiday because everything is then all vegetables and all kind of good grains and stuff like that. So cook them up any way you like, as I said, and eat them, or go out to dinner with your friends and have a wonderful time and drink some wine and talk about your harvest. That's enough of a ritual for many of us in this busy world, is just to get together with even just your significant other or children and talk about what has happened, and even by yourself out in the green, out in the woods, out in a park, out on a bench, even by the water, just to pull in the energy of the time and to take a look. One of the most important things I have to say about this, and I've been doing this now since 1996, so some bit of time, is to make sure you're aware and awake. If you're going to be pagan, or if you want to revere the goddess, or if you want to deal in this kind of spirituality, it's very important that you take the time to look up, look at the trees, look at the grass, pay attention to the animals, look at what they're doing, pay attention to you mating or not, pay attention to where there are many birds or not, what's happening in the sky, and is the light a different color? We are now, weirdly enough, in the dark time of the year. We're the dark time. So from midsummer, which was June 21st, the summer solstice, until Yule, which is December 21st, we are at the dark side of the year. So this is the time when the sun is little at a time getting less and less time. I was noticing that the sun is not coming up as early as it was previously in the summer. I've been noticing that for the first time in my life, that it's light like early and it's also light so late, as we know. So start watching the fact that, if it's 7 something, it's starting to get dark, and where it didn't happen before, especially at this time of the year. And that's why fruit is growing and being harvested. Peaches are ready, and peppers are ready, and eggplants are ready, and zucchinis are ready, and all of this stuff is coming in. The next harvest is Mabon, which is September 21st. And that's the biggest holiday, the biggest abundant harvest time. If you look at the calendar, the Jewish people actually follow this sort of harvest schedule. So their high holy days and their feast days are in September and October, when all these goods are coming in from the earth. So keep aware of that time coming up, as well as the third harvest, which is Samhain, Samhain. Samhain is how we say it in Gaelic. And it is going to be on October 31st, which we know is Halloween in America and other places in the world. So that's the third harvest, and they call that the meat harvest. And that is the day that any animals that were going to be harvested or are not going to make it through the winter are then slaughtered and either smoked or preserved. And also by that date is the day you have to have all your canning done and all your preserving done and your drying and all your smoking and all that stuff to get you and your family through the winter coming up. So so that's Lughnasadh or Lammas. So as I said, I'm here. I'm going to be doing these much more often, and I'm going to be adding, I have to finish my minor arcana tarot lessons, which I'll start to do now. And I also have to do some readings. So I'll start doing readings. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And if you click the little bell, that tells you when I'm on and you can join in. I'll try to do like my readings by sign, which people tend to like and can be done. I also will take volunteers who are not so worried about their public persona being exposed and want to have private readings in a public forum, so that can happen. Also, astrology work can be done here as well. So again, I'm back. I've been away for a little while doing a lot of other work, performing. Thank you, Goddess and God, for the opportunities. But I am now free in August a bit and into September, and I will be here on a regular basis. So many blessings, and thank you for joining me. Good to see you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you again very, very soon on my little channel. Bye.